What's up, everybody? Where would you grade the Washington Wizards for this season? The article by The Ringer rated them an F, so we're going to talk about that next, and we're going to do a preview for tomorrow night's game, the start of the 3-game West Coast trip, starting with the LA Lakers tomorrow night. We're going to do a preview for that game next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. And we appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And today's episode is brought to you by Grammarly. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Sign up and download for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. So we're going to touch base on the report by The Ringer that rated the Washington Wizards an F for their rating this year. And we're going to do a preview for tomorrow night's game in LA against the Los Angeles Lakers with a familiar face in Rui Hachimura. So let's get into it, E. Now, there was a report, or an article rather, through The Ringer where they graded the Washington Wizards an F for the season. And at the time, we had a record of 9-48. Now we have a record of 9-49. And quote unquote, they said that Washington's version of the Tank Diaries would lean heavily on the Jordan Poole disaster piece theater, which is the primary source of all the Wizards' failing grade right here. So, E, do you think that an F just solely on the performance of Jordan Poole is fair? And where would you grade the Washington Wizards so far this season at a record of 9-49?
Just to blame it on him is not fair, even though he has not played. He's been on a roller coaster. He's just been up and down and super inconsistent. He has not played well. He's been booed, and fans have been chanting, F Jordan Poole, but not stuff like that. Yeah. But to just blame him is not the right answer. Even when Gafford was here, he was the only big man that we had. We had Muscala playing center. We had Gallo playing center. Muscala is currently being bought out soon. So, we were kind of not lucky to get something for him, but, the front office did a great job to get something for those guys. But, yeah, roster construction-wise, we knew what it was coming into this season. The only thing is just that the young guys, they've improved. Denny, if you consider him a young guy, he certainly improved this season. Corey Kisper's improved. Yeah. We do want to see Bilal improve more and be more consistent, even though he's a rookie, so we get it. With him, Johnny Davis hasn't really progressed or had much of an opportunity. So this season really is evaluating the young guys and just, getting the best draft capital. So, but Jordan Poole, his value has certainly gone down. He's just not a tradable piece. He's not a tradable asset at all. So as far as his value, he certainly got an F for that. We can't even move him at all. And then DeLon Wright, you weren't able to move him. He got bought out. Shamet, you weren't able to move him. And then Tyus Jones, they didn't get what they wanted. Yeah. So that's the only thing I would grade the season on, as far as what trades we made, what trades we didn't make, or what trades we were not able to make. I'm not just going to base everything off Jordan Poole. I think that's just a national media take where they're not really invested in the Wizards. And they probably watched one game this season of the Wizards and probably just stat box and box score watched and looked at Twitter, looked at Hater Central about Jordan Poole and Shaq in a pool and Shaq in a fool, and just watch that, and that's probably all they've looked at. But I would personally grade the season on them not getting the first for Tyus that they wanted. Yeah. They didn't trade him. They ended up having to keep him. Now they have to figure out what they're going to do in the offseason with him. DeLon Wright didn't get anything for him, bought him out. But you did make a good trade for Bagley. That's a great trade. You get 2 second-round picks, so that's a win right there. Yeah. So transaction-wise, they have kind of taken some L's here and there, not too many. And then trading Gafford, of course, you get a first-round pick. So a lot of people are kind of up in arms about that, but I think them getting a first is a good deal. That's the first-round pick you get ever since, you didn't get one for Brad. You didn't get one for Porzingis either. So I know I'm going to get on a tangent here, but I just don't really respect that grade. I know Jordan Poole this season, yes, he's been a D or an F. But the whole season, if you base it on the record, of course, it's an F. But we know what the main goal is to get either Alex Sarr or Cooper Flagg from 2 years from now, the next draft, or Dillingham from Kentucky. That's what we're looking for. And I know Topic is a name out there, Nikola Topic.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our end game. That's our end goal. And if we get good draft capital and make the right pick, then it's an A. That's all that matters.
Oh, I'm with you 100%, man. I thought that's such a whack grade. An F, we knew coming into the season that it was going to be a bad team. It's a rebuild. It's year one. It's a fresh rebuild. So, I'm with you, E. Kind of basing off of Jordan Poole, you give the entire team an F. I think that's so whack. And I'm with you, man. It really shows how the national media, they have a whole lot to say about the Washington Wizards, but they don't actually sit down and watch a game or actually really, you know what I mean? Look at the nooks and crannies of the organization and the fan base. They just go off of the hate for Jordan Poole and stuff like that. And, you see it time and time again. I mean, the national media looking at people like Stephen A. Smith, they've been tough on this team since John Wall and Bradley Beal. There's always something to say about John every year. He was tough on Gilbert Arenas. I'm not even talking about the whole gun thing. I'm just him as a player. He went after him. So, the national media has never had a lot of love for the Wizards for some reason. And that's another reason why I want them to build this into a contender so we can kind of tell them where to, to put all that noise. But I'm going to grade them a C plus B minus because it's kind of meh. If you look at development, okay, Jenny is definitely broken out offensively. Now we're just looking at him to be that consistent 15 to 20 points a game scorer. He's broken out offensively. Now it's just being a consistent threat. Corey Kispert, we know what he could do on the offensive end, but now defensively, look, last game, he got 2 blocks. I mean, he's showing effort. He's showing some dog on the defensive end. I mean, he's not that – you can't really say that he can't defend. I mean, he's showing some progress as far as defending. Now, do I believe that Corey Kispert is ever going to be a lockdown defender? Nah, man, but he's definitely putting the effort into his defense, man. So you got to put a lot of kudos to that, man. He's definitely evolved. He's definitely breaking out. Bilal, we knew he was raw offensively. Defensively, he's on point. So with him, it's just wait and see. The really failing when it comes to development is Johnny Davis. Not really giving him consistent minutes, not really giving him a defined role. It's up in the air what you're going to do with your 10th overall pick from 2 years ago. I mean, at this point, a lot of people are starting to talk about is that why not just waive the guy? I mean, if you're not going to be serious about giving him minutes, waive him. And that's kind of where I'm at with development. As far as transactions, I mean, looking at the Detroit Pistons trade, the fact that they waived both Gallinari and Muscala shows you that it was a pretty good deal. Marvin Bagley, I get it. There's a reason why they attach picks and the young guy and Isaiah Livers, man, but it's all about the right fit, right system. And he's playing well in DC. He's really revitalizing his career in DC, man. So it was a good trade. Now, the lack of trades, you can say now, did we necessarily need to move Gaff? Nah. Did we necessarily need to move Kuz? No, even though I thought that the trade offer from the Dallas Mavericks was a good trade offer, and I would have took it, man. But there's a lot of ways to look at the season. I wouldn't say an F. And even if you look at F, which I'm not going to look at it, you can't base it off Jordan Poole. I mean, it's just to me, that's just foolhardy, man. It's like one player doesn't define a whole organization for a season. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they had the moments. I do believe that they should have got some for ties, man. There are reports that they may try to resign him, but even then, you get some assets back because it's a rebuilding team. 4 second round picks. There was a report that there was another team that was offering. I believe what was it? The Orlando Magic. I got to check the sources, man, but they said that, they offered 4 second rounders. So there was a chance to get some assets, but I'm not going to give it an FE. Jordan Poole, kind of ending on that. It has been a disaster, but here's the thing, he's young. He's very, very young. He hasn't hit his prime yet. There's some things to work on. He needs to put a lot of the work into it. But it's not lost yet. We got to see if we can revitalize him here in DC, get him figured out. I think Isaiah Livers, the fact that their roommates go back to Michigan, that's a positive step. But again, going back to the media where they painting, when Stephen A. Smith came out and said that nobody's helping them, I don't buy that, man. I don't buy that. It's just, I think that's a whack excuse. You're taking the responsibility away from Jordan Poole, which is even if it's true that people are upset with him on a personal level, why do you think that is? Because of some of the shenanigans on the court and him trying to be Hollywood. So it's not just because they don't like the guys, because there's just some things that from a team point or from a teammate standpoint would rub me and you the wrong way. You know what I mean? So it's just, they're trying to find issues where there's not. And I think if you figure out Jordan Poole, get him straight, get these young guys developed and really hit in the draft, this team's going to be a threat in 3 to 4 years, man, in my opinion. So we're doing all the right things. Just, you got to wait and see. So.
Yeah. And back to Kuz. I mean, yeah, whether he's on ball or off ball, he struggled. Yeah. You look at some of the teammates yell at him. DeLon Wright's no longer here, but he got into a back and forth with him. Kyle Kuzma yelling at him, different things like that. But as of late, with him coming off the bench, I think that's just a better role for him.
Yeah.
He had a rough game against the Warriors, but I think that's something they probably should have done that way earlier. And maybe that's just on West or the front office, but and then you can kind of throw West in the grade there too. Should they have let West go before the season even started? That's just a grade for a whole different scenario or whatever. But it is what it is now. He's gone, so that could be a factor into the grade a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you look at wins and losses, of course, it's the F. You look at Jordan Poole alone, it's the F. But there are some positives, like you said. Corey Denny's played well, 43 point game. Corey's played well, 20-point games here and there. He's improved, so there are some positives here and there. Bagley's played really well, so those are the 3 positives. And Tyus has played well with 17 assists the other night too. So it's just they're playing hardball with the first-round pick, and other teams are playing hardball too because they don't want to give up a first-round pick for Tyus. So we'll see what happens in the offseason. But yeah, like we both agree that the grade is ridiculous just to base it on Poole. But once again, we know that they gotta, it's the national media. They gotta get their views and clicks, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we're gonna kind of talk about Tyus a little bit, man, because there was a report that came out about his assist to turnover ratio. So we're gonna talk about that further, and we're gonna get into the preview for tomorrow night's game against the Lake Show. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. So our partners at eBay Motors has teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire like I'm always doing, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit your roster. So let's see who Josh has picked for us this week on eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. So there are some good options, man. But like I said, I'm very biased, man. I could lean towards Benedict Mathurin, but I'm going to roll with Corey Kispert because, look, at some point, Kispert is going to find himself in a larger role permanently. He is shooting well, and the Wizards should start using him more, which I definitely agree. So on one of my fantasy teams, I actually picked up Corey Kispert. If you're looking for 3 points made, definitely boosted 3-pointers, I would definitely rock with Corey Kispert. He's going to provide you points on him. And I believe that they have him slotted for the 2 guard and the 3, so he's got some versatility as far as where you place him on your team. And he is definitely available. I believe last time I saw he was available in around 57% of leagues. So look, if you have the chance, go out there and grab Corey Kispert because again, if you need a boost on your bench with score on points scored, especially 3-pointers, definitely rock with Corey Kispert. That is definitely my recommendation for fantasy. But Josh Lloyd for Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship. And eBay Motors knows a championship team is all about each player being the perfect fit. Same with your vehicle, right? Because with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, is guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning just rubber, not cash. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible islands only. Exclusions apply. And Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and that's available on Amazon Fire TV and the Free Fire TV's channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the Free Fire TV channels app. So, let's get into. We were just talking about Tyus Jones, man. I'm going to try to pull up the article that I had up there earlier about Tyus, man. And bear with me real quick. And this is from NBA University. And it says some of Tyus Jones' assist to turnover performances in recent losses. From February 12th to February 27th, this is what his assist and turnover ratio is. 17 assists to 1 turnover, 11 assists to 1 turnover, 14 assists to 2 turnovers, 15 assists to 2 turnovers, 16 assists to 2 turnovers. And then when you look at January the 8th to January 25th, he's averaging around 14 assists and only has 1 turnover in a 3-game span. So looking at Tyus Jones, man, I mean, where are you at as far as long-term with him? Do you see him as a guy that maybe you re-sign for a rebuild, grooming a younger point guard and being that distributor to set up a lot of these young guys, especially Bilal, Corey Kispert, and Denny, to get their numbers up? or are you pretty much ready for him to walk? Because considering looking, especially if he's looking at starter money, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't mind keeping him. I'm trying to look at what he may command on the market, but I think he will be a good mentor and just a good guy for a rebuild. He's a guy that is a facilitator, distributor, kind of settles guys down, settles the troops down, and gets the ball to guys in good spots. Obviously, look at 17 assists, 14 assists. You look at his last couple games, like you said, the assist to turnover ratio. He's not going to do too much. He's not going to step on anybody's toes. He's going to do the right thing. He's a good locker room guy. He just checks all the boxes for a professional point guard. He may not be the best starting point guard, but he's a darn good point guard in this league. He coming off the bench, he'd be the best backup point guard in the league. We already know that. He's played in big games. He's played in big playoff games with the Grizzlies. So checks a lot of boxes. Right now, he's making $14 million a year. He is an unrestricted free agent. You want to get value for him, kind of like Kuzma. You don't want to just they didn't want to let Kuz walk for nothing. That's a big reason why Kuz is still here. So I can see the same thing with Tyus. And they've done a good job so far with contracts, as we see. With the Kuzma's deal was a good deal. Denny's deal is a good deal as well. So it looks like they probably will try to keep him or do a sign and trade or something like that. They're not just going to let him walk. They're definitely going to try to get some value, but they may just have to lower their asking price. They may have to take 5 second-round picks, 4 second-round picks, whatever the Timberwolves offer them. They may just have to settle for that because, like I said earlier, teams are not biting. They're not budging on that first-round pick. They're just not doing it for Tyus Jones at this point. And I don't blame other teams for that either. They settled. Who was it? Was it the Timberwolves that settled for Monte Morris? They just went bargain bin shopping. They settled for Monte Morris. Another team, they settled for Cameron Payne and Patrick Beverly. So they're like, okay, we're just not going to give him a first-round pick. They'd rather not do that. So, but as far as keeping him, I don't mind keeping him. And then if he's not traded in the offseason, you look at it again with the trade deadline, see what you can get. Maybe a team is desperate next year. Maybe the Sixers are desperate or something like that for a backup point guard. You just never know. We'll never know. So we'll see what happens. But I think they should try to keep him and, once again, try to get assets like they are with Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Definitely. I think that this is a win-win. I definitely thought you should have got something for him. But if you indeed want him to stick around, I think that's a good move. If the contract is a friendly contract, I'm not giving him like a crazy contract if you want starter money. Right now he's making 14. He could ask for 20. We'll see. But I think he will be good for the development of the young guys, man, especially because, look, we know what he can do. Defensively, he's, you do want more from him defensively, but he doesn't have the speed that John Wall did or Russell Westbrook had or even Gilbert Arenas had. He doesn't have the scoring volume that Arenas had. We're often spoiled here with point guards in DC because we have high expectations of what kind of point guards we like here, but he's a constant professional. He came in, he is he's the perfect floor general. He's looking to distribute first. He's got his floater. He does have the ability to shoot that 3-point shot, but his first move is to distribute, get other people involved, and that's perfect for the development of young guys. He doesn't necessarily have to be the guy, the focal point of offense like John Wall was, or even Russ. You can be a guy who just sits back and sets people up. And when you're trying to get the most out of Denny, Bilal, and Corey Kispert offensively, you got a floor general who's going to set them up. Two, you go into the draft, you get a Dillingham, you go get an Isaiah Collier, a Topic. You have the ability to develop them now. You have a guy who, one, is going to show them how to be a professional point guard, how to be that leader. You have a guy who's going to help groom. So I think it'll be a good move. Obviously I wanted them to move him to get assets, but they didn't do that. So now I would be upset if they did that. Now, like I said, we need to stem the expectations here. Like, obviously the expectations are he's here to help the young guys grow and help groom the next guy. Obviously he's not going to be signed to be the guy long-term, but I'm all in favor for it because, like I said, he knows what he's doing. He's a heck of a point guard. If you look at his assist to turnover ratio, he's been playing. You call it what it is. Those are elite numbers. Now, I'm not saying he's an elite player, but those are definitely elite numbers, man. It shows that he ball security. He's key in ball security, finding the right people in the right places, man. His assist numbers have been impressive. So I would have no problem with him being long, not long-term, Lord Hammers. Look at me. I have no problem with him coming back because, like I said, you want a guy like that to help teach the young point guard of the future. kind of like Mike Conley. And I advocated for Mike Conley come to DC for years, man, because he's that constant professional. Mike Conley's not a guy, again, kind of like Tyus Jones. He's not a guy who's going to wow you. He's not the super athletic like a John Morant. He's not a guy who's going to score in volume, but he's a guy who's going to come in and do his job. And he shows up every game. So, yeah, I would have no problem with him, man, at all.
Yeah, definitely when he's a good locker room guy.
Yeah.
When he's a likable guy, he's a good guy, leader, been in playoff experiences, I don't mind him coming back at all. So, but at the end game, at the end of the day, they got to get something for him for sure. And he makes other guys better. He helps Bagley get easy baskets, Rashawn Holmes, easy baskets, Kuzma, easy shots, Kispert. You got to have some type of point guard there with some veteran experience. Now, if we do draft a point guard, he can be a good, stopgap, help the young guy learn.
Yeah.
And then, if the young point guard that we get, like you said, Collier, if he's ready to take the keys, you move on from Tyus Jones and trade him.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into the preview for tomorrow night's game against the Lake Show. But before we do, my man E's going to talk to us about Grammarly tonight.
Yes, sir. Today's episode is brought to you by Grammarly. No matter what kind of work you do, how you communicate is key. All those emails, reports, and presentations are equally important to collaboration needed to get things done, and Grammarly can help. Grammarly is your AI writing partner to help you communicate more effectively and efficiently so you can make a bigger impact. Like writing essays, working on school, sending emails, whatever. You always want to make sure that your grammar is correct, and Grammarly helps that a lot. Especially when you're in a rush, you're just typing and ready to send. Make sure you use Grammarly right before you send that email. 96% of Grammarly users report that Grammarly helps them craft more impactful writing. Grammarly works across 500,000 apps and websites. Their tone suggestions help you navigate even the most difficult work conversations. Save time with one click and go from editing drafts in hours to seconds. 93% of professionals using Grammarly Premium report that it helps them get more work done. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Sign up and download for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done.
Yes, sir. So tomorrow night, the Wizards begin a 3-game West Coast trip. 2 games in LA against the Clips and the Lakers, and then in Utah. So I guess we're going to take a different spin tonight. What matchups are you looking for against the Lakers, and why?
I know it's easy to say LeBron, but really Anthony Davis. I mean, the last time Anthony Davis played the Wizards, what I remember is he had 55 points. Him versus Bagley. So how is that matchup going to go? 2 athletic bigs. Bagley's a good rebounder. Anthony Davis is a good rebounder. So that should be a fun matchup. Looking at, of course, Rui. I mean, if Denny plays, then Rui versus Denny. Hopefully Denny is available to play. Denny versus LeBron, too, because LeBron disrespected Denny that one time last year where he just didn't even go out to the three-point line. He just kept staying in the paint, allowing Denny to shoot. So that was very disrespectful. Denny's improved. He's worked on his three-pointer, so that would be something to show. LeBron, making LeBron step out there, but I do want to see Denny versus Rui if Denny plays. That would be a fun matchup right there. Yeah, we know the history there with their fans, Denny fans, and Rui had a lot of fans, of course, as he does with the whole Japan fan base, but his stands are definitely not as vocal as Denny stands for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a matchup I'm looking forward to, man. I'm really telling you. A couple of matches I'm looking at. At the point guard, man, D'Angelo Russell and Tyus Jones, man. Neither one of them are stoppers on defense, man. So that's going to be an offensive matchup right there. On the second unit, Spencer Dinwiddie and Jordan Poole. That is a matchup I definitely want to see, man, because they both have had their history or present with this organization, man. And Spencer Dinwiddie, it's funny because I watched a couple, or not watched, but I saw a couple blog sites for the Lakers, man, and they're already ready for him to go. So I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie, is what it is. But I'm with you. I like to see another matchup I'm looking at, Rui and Kyle Kuzma at power forward. What I want to see going forward with Kyle Kuzma, man, he's got to utilize that 6'10" frame, man. Rui is a scorer, but means can he stop Kyle? I think this is a good matchup for Kyle Kuzma to exploit the Lakers, man, because he's got to use the 6'10" frame, man, and start driving and be more aggressive driving the lane. Stop being so depending on that 3-point shot, man. Don't settle for 3-point shots. Definitely utilize the shot clock, run some plays, get everybody involved, fluent ball movement, team basketball, no ISO. Same thing. We know what our issues are: rebounding and defense. Defense with this team. Look, the Lakers. I believe they're 7th in the NBA in assists. So, look, they had that chemistry. They find the right guys in the front in the right places, and they capitalize. So definitely, defensively, we've got to be dogs, man. We've got to get on them in transition. We've got to communicate. We've got to rotate. We've got to close out shooters, man. So I'm not even going to predict, man. I mean, because that's a whole nother conversation talking about this record coming up. Because I mean, look, I believe the record is 16 losses in a row is our record, and then we're approaching it, man. And West Coast trip. We got the Lakers, we got the Clips, we got the Jazz. I mean, we may be doing an episode in this next week coming up, man, talking about a record, man, because this trip's going to test us, man. But yeah, I mean, team basketball. I mean, you hear it in football all the time. Any given Sunday, same thing in basketball. Any night, any team can win. Some nice shots on drop. So if they have an off night or turnovers, we got to capitalize. I definitely think we played them because we've been playing teams hard, except for one game since the All-Star break. So just fight hard, play to win, and definitely want to see these young guys. Obviously, I don't think Bilal's playing because I think he's might be out. Denny, we should see Denny. We should see Corey Kispert. We will definitely give you guys updates on Twitter if anything changes as far as availability of Corey Kispert and Denny Avia. But I don't think we're going to see Bilal because that fall, man. We don't know how much damage really causing that on the arm because it looked like he fell on his arm. So yeah, like I said, just playing hard, man. That's all I expect for the team.
Yeah, just looking at the Lakers, like you brought up their stats, they're 7th in assists, 10th in blocks, 6th in free throw attempts. LeBron gets to the line a lot. AD gets to the line a lot. Also, Reeves gets to the line a lot. So you got to defend without fouling. Offensive rebounding, they're 30th. They don't get a lot of offensive rebounds, but of course against us that may change because we're just not a good rebounding team. But Bagley and Rashawn Holmes, they got to play with physicality against Anthony Davis. Certainly a tough matchup against a great player, but they cannot allow him to go crazy like he did against us last year. The Lakers don't foul a lot. They're first in personal fouls. They don't shoot a lot of threes either. They're 30th in three-point attempts. And defensively, right now, they're 15th, 6th in pace. So it's going to be an up-and-down game, probably a high-scoring game as well because they're looking to run. We're looking to run. We're first in pace right now. And, of course, we don't play a lot of defense as well. So it could be an up-and-down game. For sure. Like I said, they're 18th in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating. But, yeah, I mean, you brought up some good points. Of course, it's easy to talk about LeBron and be like, hey, we got to wall up against him, try to defend without fouling, just put your hands up and whatnot. Same thing with Anthony Davis. But Austin Reeves, I don't know if he's playing either. I got to see if he's playing because he's a tough matchup too because he gets a lot of calls. So that's something to pay attention to. I'm not going to go out there and just blame the refs or whatever. If the Wizards lose, they may just lose anyway, of course. But definitely look at the free throw attempts in this game. I think that's going to be a huge 11 and Rui has 6 off the bench. Christian Wood, Cam Reddish is on the team too.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun. This should be a fun game. Just play their game, defend the 3-point line, get back on defense, and they just gotta rebound. That's gonna be huge. They just gotta rebound.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like I said, defense is definitely going to probably stay in the locker room because,
and like you said about the record, this is a historical night. Not in a good way, but can they end this month on a good note? So that's the big thing right there. Or are they going to set a record for losing in the whole month? I want to say the Pistons just lost in the whole month. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Pistons just won last night. So they didn't. It was somebody else. I want to say it was the Blazers lost the whole month of February.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it was Portland. So yeah, it's not gonna be a defensive game, man. I mean, because we're so bad at defense. I mean, we get outscored and shoot around. So I mean, it is what it is. So 10:30 tomorrow night, we will be going live. It's gonna be early in the AM on the East Coast, man. But rock with us, man. Bring some coffee with you. We're gonna chat it up, and definitely 10:30 tomorrow night. We are the first of a back-to-back against the Lakers and the Clippers, Thursday and Friday night. So definitely rock with us on the live recap. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Definitely. Like, subscribe, comment below. Let us know where do you guys grade the Washington Wizards this year? Is it an F? I hope not. So again, appreciate everybody. Hail to the Wizards and
breaking news. I'm sorry, Bilal is out. I think you already said it, but he was listed out for his pelvis injury.
Pelvis.
And he's questionable with the heel injury for tomorrow night.
Man, you better play, man. You know, Rui playing. So, all right, everybody. Peace, man. See you everybody later, man.